Hello internet world, welcome to a new video on the Geekanoids channel. This is going to be a very interesting video. It's the first time I've done a video this complex sort of live, and it's also the first time that I've really got to grips with using an eGPU. And I want to talk you through my journey and my thought process behind what I've put in place, and also how I ended up using this, which is the MSI Radeon RX Vega 64 graphics card in combination with a Razer Core X eGPU just sitting over here, and my 13-inch MacBook Pro. The 13-inch MacBook Pro that I've got, I'll show you very shortly. It's just down here running the live chat for this broadcast, but I'm going to be using it with the eGPU. I've had some really good results, which I'll be sharing a little bit later on during this video. But we're actually going to be testing something live, so you're going to experience this the first time as myself. And it's something that I discovered during my research as to what pieces of equipment to get for this particular setup. I've currently got it set up behind me here on an LG 38UC99, and the Razer Core X is connected via DisplayPort. And I'm going to be connecting it into my MacBook Pro via a Thunderbolt 3 cable. I'll tell you about the research and what I found out a little bit later, but basically the cable has to be very short apparently between the MacBook Pro and the eGPU. So let me just talk you through the setup a little bit before I plug my MacBook Pro in. Before I do that, I do just want to say a big hello to Amir Bilal and Jack Puttock, both in the live chat. Thank you very much for tuning in live. This is indeed a live broadcast. So if you've got any interest at all in MacBook Pros, macOS Mojave and eGPU support, in particular the Razer Core X, and what I think is one of the very fastest eGPUs or graphics cards supported by macOS. If you've got any questions about that, pop them in the live chat. And indeed, if you're watching this after the live broadcast, you can use the regular chat or regular comment section, I should say, below. And one last thing before we get on to testing this out. If you want to buy any of these pieces that you're going to see in this product, in this video, the MSI Radeon RX Vega 64 and both the Razer Core X, I've linked to both of those down in the video description area. They are affiliate links. They don't cost you a penny extra, but they do help support the channel with a little bit of commission on qualifying sales. So let's get back to this particular setup. For those of you just tuning in, let's talk about the components one last time. So over the back here, we've got the Razer Core X. It's an eGPU. It's connected into the mains. Inside the Razer Core X, I've got my graphics card, and then connected to the back of the Razer Core X is a DisplayPort cable going into the LG 38UC99 monitor. And then also coming out the back of the Razer Core X is a single Thunderbolt 3 cable, which in my research I found a lot of people saying it has to be under 40 centimeters long. So we're going to do the first test with that, and I've already tested this out, so it should run pretty smoothly. And then the graphics card inside here, you can put lots of different graphics cards, but macOS Mojave only supports certain ones. And the current officially supported one is the Radeon RX Vega 64. So this is currently the fastest officially supported graphics card that's available. There is also a Radeon Vega 2 or something that's going to be supported in the next release of macOS. But to date, the fastest supported one is this. And then the third piece in the jigsaw puzzle, which is currently running the live chat, is my 13-inch MacBook Pro. It's got Thunderbolt 3 ports on the side. It's the one with the touch bar, and let's plug it in. Let's plug it in and see how this goes. So let me just move this to one side, and we'll go over here and plug this in. So excuse looking at the back of me for a short while, but we're going to plug in via this really short Thunderbolt 3 cable. Let's move my microphone arm out of the way, and we're just going to sit this on top like so, rather precariously, and we should get this display now come on, which we have. So it's actually recognised the eGPU and it's now running dual displays. I've not got it mirrored. I've got this as the main display and then the MacBook Pro as the secondary display, so I can move between the two. Let's find where my pointer is. So my pointer's here, and I can move this window into a more central location, or indeed I can go across to the internal display on the MacBook Pro. So you can actually see your own live chat and a little preview of the video, a little bit of a live broadcast inception there. So it's running the two displays. This one is an external display via Thunderbolt 3. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit actually now about the results I've been getting with this. Now, I'll take questions a little bit later on. I can't look behind me and take questions from the live chat. So let me just talk to you about my experience so far. So we've got the MacBook Pro connected to the Razer Core X. This is the primary display. The internal display on the MacBook is the secondary display. And I ran a few tests. So the first test I ran was Geekbench 4. And I didn't expect to see many sort of performance gains in this because it doesn't really test external eGPUs. And in fact, running without the eGPU, I got a Geekbench of 9269. And running with the eGPU, it dropped a little bit to 9160. And I put that down to it probably because it was having to run all of the extra pixels on this display as well. And it wasn't utilising the graphics card, that Vega 64. It just wasn't being used, so I expected that result. The next test I did was with Unigine Heaven benchmark. This gives you a good indication of what it might be like using an eGPU setup like this, but for gaming. And the tests were really very, very good indeed. Without the eGPU, the overall score I was getting was 537, and with the eGPU, I was getting 934. So just shy of double the performance. With regard to frame rate, without the eGPU, I was getting 21 frames per second, peaking at 45, and with the eGPU, I was getting 43 frames per second, peaking at just under 70. So that is a really good performance gain. And don't forget, this is running a lot of pixels on this ultra wide display. So it was a really good result. And then I also tested Final Cut Pro 10 or FCPX. This is the test I wanted to do most because I use Final Cut Pro for all of my video editing. And when you're running macOS Mojave, when you go into the Get Info panel on your applications, there's a little tick box that you can check that you can actually tell it to prefer the eGPU. So that's your preference, is that it uses the eGPU. And I was ticking that, and I launched Final Cut Pro 10. I did the same tick box on compressor as well, so to make sure both components were using the eGPU. And I ran a test where I was exporting. It was roughly about a 3-minute video or thereabouts in 4K or UHD resolution. Without the eGPU, it took 2 minutes and 49 seconds to export. And with the eGPU, it took 2 minutes and 29 seconds to export. So 20 seconds quicker, so not a big performance gain. But where the real performance gain came in was not on the export, because I wasn't really expecting a big improvement when exporting the videos. The big performance gain came in when you were actually using the application. So when you were putting color correction on, effects, filters, when you were actually sort of processing the video within the application, wow, it was a lot more responsive, a lot snappier, and I would say probably a 2 times performance gain using the eGPU when I was editing over and above not using it. So I'm really very pleased with that, very pleased indeed. Now, as I mentioned before, this is going to be a little bit of a longer video because it's something a little bit different for you all. I'm going to do that test now where a lot of people have been saying that you need to use this really short cable. So I think we'll try that now. Let me get up. What we have to do is we actually have to eject the eGPU as though it's a drive. I know you can't see this, but I'm clicking, when I found my pointer, I'm clicking just up here in the menu bar, and there should be a little eGPU icon, which there is, and it says disconnect. So I'm going to disconnect, and now this monitor should turn off. It's still got the display on at the moment, but let's unplug the cable and then it disconnects. So now we've got no eGPU connected. So I'm going to take out this short cable. Let's take out this really short one. And then just here, I've got an extra long Thunderbolt 3 cable. Let's leave the monitor up there for now. Sorry, the MacBook Pro up there for now. And we're going to plug in the longer cable. If I can find it. I've picked up the wrong sort of cable. Let's get a proper Thunderbolt 3 cable. I picked up completely the wrong sort of cable there. So we want Thunderbolt 3. I should have a long Thunderbolt 3 cable in here somewhere. Here we go, Thunderbolt 3 cable. Trying to find the longest one I've got. Here we go. We've got a long Thunderbolt 3 cable here. This is the beauty of live video. So let's plug in the extra long cable. One end in there. And then you can see this is a lot longer. I would say this is probably about a 2 meter cable. And then we're going to plug in to here. The fan has kicked in on the Razer Core X, so it's recognised that I've connected, and now we're going to see if we get the display come up. It doesn't look like it's going to come on. It doesn't look like it's even recognised it. So it's recognised we've got a connection because I can see the fan spinning there. Let's see if I've got one other cable I can try. I've got so many cables in this box. See if we've got a... No, I think that's about the only one I've got in there. Oh, here we go. We've got one other cable, another long cable. So let's try this other long cable. I am here. So we've got another Thunderbolt 3 cable. Let's try this one. So we're going to unplug these because it's obviously not recognising that one. And we'll plug that end in there. This one I would say is about 1.5 to 2 meters long. And we plug in. It's recognised it again because the fan has started going. But alas, it's not recognising that longer cable. So as though the actual, not rumours, the actual sort of knowledge base articles I was reading are indeed correct, and it's not going to actually, yeah, it says here, cannot use Thunderbolt accessory, connect accessory to a Thunderbolt port on this Mac. So it's actually saying that the cable is not capable of running that particular cable. So let's just pop this back round. Ignore what I'm putting on the monitor now, I'm just mirroring the live broadcast there. So back to discussing this. So as you saw there, it would not support the longer cable. So we're stuck to using that rather short, about 30 to 40 centimeter cable to get this running with the eGPU, which is a little bit unfortunate because it means you have to have your MacBook Pro or whatever Mac you're using with the eGPU quite close to the enclosure. I'm going to try over the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks to get some longer but higher quality possibly cables in, just to see if I can try a few more, and I'll let you know how that goes in a future video. Let's take a look inside the live chat. We've got Jack Puttock saying, assuming that NVIDIA cards aren't supported. They aren't officially supported, but there is an eGPU forum that I've been looking at, and looking at lots of the comments there. Very, very useful information. And you can get them running, but they're not officially supported by macOS. We've also got David Romero saying hello again from Spain. That's great that you're tuning in from Spain. Thank you very much. The Unexpected, good afternoon, Dave. Are these new eGPUs compatible with both Mac and Windows-based laptops? As far as I know, yes, they are. As long as you've got Thunderbolt 3. You need a Thunderbolt 3 capable laptop. I've been reading a lot of comments on the forums about people running them on Mac OS, but also having Windows running in boot camp, and with some sort of little sort of edits that they've been doing to the registry, for example, they've managed to get that working quite successfully as well. KS saying, did you consider the Sapphire Vega 64 and the Sonnet 550 watt? It's considered to be quieter. Yes, I did. First of all, I considered the Sapphire Vega 64 card, but as though the power draw was quite a lot higher on the Sapphire one, at least on the spec sheet. People were still saying it drew about the same amount of power as the one I opted for. Where did my box go? This one here, the MSI one. They're saying that it's around about the same power draw, but actually when it was boosted or peaking, the power draw was quite a lot more. So I decided to go for this one. This was also on offer when I got this as well, so this one saved me about sort of £60 on the whole setup. I'll tell you about something else I considered very shortly as well. And if you follow me on Instagram, if you pop on over to Instagram and follow Geekanoids, you'll have seen some of my photos on there. You'll have seen a photo of this graphics card and another one that I considered, or another eGPU that I considered as well. So please do follow me on Instagram. You mentioned also the Sonnet 550 watt eGPU box. Yeah, I considered that as well, but it just wasn't very readily available. It was out of stock in a lot of places. I have heard it's quieter, but again, it wasn't readily available. And even this one, the Razer Core X that I got in, that was out of stock in a lot of places. Even on Razer's own website, that was out of stock. Big shout out to, not a sponsor of the video, but I ended up buying that from Microsoft in the UK, believe it or not. It was about £10 or £20 cheaper than buying it from Razer, and it came in a couple of days. Very, very pleased indeed. KS saying also go for a shorter Thunderbolt 3 cable. I might try some 1 metre ones. I've got a 30 centimetre one there. I might get in a couple of like a 1 metre and a 1.5 metre just to see if I can edge it out a little bit. We've also got KS saying 2 metre is too long. Yeah, as experienced in that test. KS also saying go for this Intel certified Anchor, Thunderbolt 3 cable, USB to USB-C, supports 100 watt charging, blah, 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 perfect for Type-C MacBooks. Thank you very much for the recommendation. I will check that out, definitely. Very, very, very good of you to share that. I will check out that cable, and hopefully I can get a metre long one. That will make things a little bit more flexible in how I've got this set up. Now, just 2 more things to talk to you about in this video. First, my other consideration, the other thing I was considering getting, I'm very, very glad at this point that I didn't. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I actually posted a picture of the Blackmagic eGPU. They do 2 different versions, and in fact the one equivalent to this, or it might even have a Vega 56 in, it's either got a Vega 56 or a 64, costs a lot more than the combination of these 2 bits of equipment together. And what you've got to consider with the Blackmagic eGPU is that when that gets superseded by a faster graphics card, it's the whole unit you've got to change. Whereas when this gets superseded, the graphics card, I can keep the enclosure and just swap out the graphics card. So do consider that. And building your own is just a matter of opening the box up, popping the graphics card in, job done. It's like a 2-minute job, so it's very, very easy indeed. The second bit of information I want to share with you, and I will also show this in a future video, is I'm planning my next editing room tour. I do a tour of this room every year. I missed a year because there wasn't many changes, and I'm waiting for one more piece in the jigsaw puzzle, and that is a 32-inch 4K or UHD display, and it's going to go on the desk here just to the right of me, and I'm going to be moving the eGPU over to this area here just behind me. You can see this blue projector or overhead camera in the corner. It's going to be going round about here, the eGPU, and then on the desk I'm going to have the 32-inch 4K display and the eGPU, and that's going to be the new workstation for the MacBook Pro. Normally on this screen here behind me, the 38-inch widescreen, I've got that mirroring, or not mirroring, extending the display of my 27-inch iMac. That's what runs all of the live broadcasts now, and I hardly ever use my Mac Pro. My late 2013 Mac Pro is struggling a bit performance-wise. It does sound like it needs a little bit of a refresh, and I'm hoping that Apple delivers some new Mac Pros soon, as we all are. But for now, I'm really impressed with what this combination of these two bits of kit have done for me. I'm impressed with the performance gain, and I can only see things getting better. We've had Blackmagic actually announce at NAB 2019 that their DaVinci Resolve is supporting eGPUs. We also had Adobe, I think at NAB they announced it, that their Adobe Premiere Pro is also supporting eGPUs. So things are just starting to happen, really sort of coming together on the eGPU front with a lot of application support, and that's what we need. We need application support so we can take advantage of this sort of higher end equipment, and I think it's great, really good news, that Apple are also supporting eGPUs officially as well. So anyway, that's been my experience so far. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've really enjoyed sort of sharing this with you. If you've got any comments or questions at all, please do pop them down in the comment section below. Let me know if you've tried an eGPU and what your experience was, or indeed if you've got any tips, because I'm still learning about it and you can never stop learning. So please do let me know your experiences down below. Don't forget to check out those links. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in another video very soon.